You ever catch yourself doing that thing where you're walking down a dark hallway at night and you start to speed up because you remember every Resident Evil moment that scared you half to death? We've all been there. But here's the thing, that instinct, that primal urge to get out of there, that's actually the smartest thing you could do. Because after spending way too much time analyzing Resident Evil monsters, I realized something terrifying. See, we all think we'd be the main character. We've played these games so many times. We figure we'd know all the tricks, but let me tell you exactly why you, me, and everyone else wouldn't survive. Don't be that one guy in the comment sections that's like, nah, I'll win, because you're not gonna win. You ain't gonna hit them with that hollow purple. Let's start off with everyone's favorite ceiling-crawling nightmare, the liquor. And before you say, shh, just be quiet, let me explain why it's about as useful as bringing a pool noodle to a gunfight. First off, these lovely old fellows aren't just working with a really good hearing. Their whole body is one ear. That slight shuffle of your feet, that sound of your heartbeat racing, even that little sniffle you're trying to hold back as you're about to cry. Yeah, they can hear all of that. And unlike the games, you don't get multiple tries when this thing decides you're its lunch. Let's break this down scientifically, because science makes everything more terrifying. These things can cross a room in less than a second. The average human reaction time is about 0.25 seconds. So by the time your brain processes, oh shoot, it's a liquor, you're already missing several important pieces of your anatomy. And don't even think about outrunning them. These things can leap 20 feet in one bound. So unless you've been secretly training for the Olympics while watching my videos, you're not making it to a safe room. Speaking of safe rooms, let's talk about when you actually try to hide. Remember how I said their body is one gigantic ear? Yeah, the panic attack you're having, they can hear that too. Your racing heartbeat might as well be a dinner bell, but I'm guessing you knew that already. But hey, maybe you're thinking, I'll just shoot it. First off, bold of you to assume you just have a gun handy. And second, have you seen how many bullets these things take? And that's with trained professionals trying to shoot them. You think you're landing any shots while this thing is doing its best Spider-Man impression? Let's be honest, your aim is gonna look less like Chris Redfield and more like a stormtrooper having a seizure. But if you thought the liquor was bad, oh buddy, let me show you something that makes that tongue-happy monster look like a house cat. Remember that sound? Those heavy footsteps that make you question your life? The Executioner, 7 feet of nope, wrapped in leather and carrying an axe bigger than your future. And unlike his ceiling-crawling cousin, this guy doesn't just need to be sneaky. When you're built like a brick wall that went to the gym, being subtle isn't really a priority. You know in horror movies when people are like, oh yeah, at least we're safe in here? He's the reason that's not true. Walls, more like mild suggestions. They're just like spicy paper to this absolute unit. And here's the real kicker about our friendly neighborhood Executioner. You can't even use just run away as a strategy. Sure, he's slow, but emphasis on slow and not dumb. While you're busy celebrating getting to safety, he has already figured out where you're running and has taken 3 shortcuts to get there. Think about it, when's the last time you had to run for your life? That time when you're late for work doesn't count. Most of us get winded trying to go up just 2 flights of stairs, even 1. Meanwhile, this guy doesn't even need to breathe. Talk about an unfair advantage. Your average stamina bar is more like a TikTok video, while his is a Netflix series that never ends. But hey, at least these first 2 monsters are straightforward about wanting to kill you. Our next contestant is in the Ways to Die Horribly pageant. She likes to play with her food first. Marguerite Baker, the worst dinner host you'll ever meet. And that's including your aunt, who still tries to make that fruitcake. But unlike your aunt's cooking, Marguerite's special recipe includes actual insects. Like all of them, ever. Let's talk about why this is actually more terrifying than it first appears. One wasp is scary. A swarm of wasps, terrifying. But a swarm of wasps controlled by a mutated woman who climbs walls and wants to make you a part of her family dinner? That's therapy for life, assuming you live long enough to receive therapy. Remember how bad you are at dealing with 1 bug in your house? Yeah, multiply that by like 1,000 and add in some body horror and sprinkle on some southern hospitality gone wrong. That's what you're dealing with here. And here's the real nightmare fuel. You can't just bug bomb your whole house. These aren't your usual call the exterminator bugs. These things are basically her personal army, and they're not unionized. They don't need breaks, they don't need rest, and they definitely don't care about your pest control spray. But if you think Marguerite's bug problem was bad, let me introduce you to something that makes her look like amateur hour at the horror show. The Regenerators. You know that sound, the wheezing, rasping nightmare fuel that makes you want to immediately Alt F4 back to Animal Crossing? That's the Regenerators. But here's the thing about them that makes them truly terrifying. They're basically the horror equivalent of a math problem about cutting something in half infinitely. Think you can just shoot them? Oh, that's cute. Really, it's adorable. You blow an arm off, it grows back. Leg, same thing. Head, they got a warranty for those too. It's like trying to win an argument with someone on Twitter. Need I say more? Oh, and remember the thermal scope from the game? Yeah, that's not something you can just pick up from your local Walmart. Without it, you're basically playing pin the bullets on the parasite. Except the parasites are in a walking nightmare that really wants to hug you with its teeth. And let's talk about that walk, that horrible walk, if you can even call it that. The unnatural shuffle that somehow catches up to you. No matter how fast you run, it will get you. It's like they're moving in their own time zone where the laws of physics are just a mild suggestion. Speaking of breaking the laws of physics and basically every other law, let's talk about William Birkin, or what I like to call him, bring your daughter to work day, gone wrong. See, most monsters in Resident Evil have the decency to pick a form and stick with it. William, not so much. This overachiever said, why one nightmare when you can be 5? It's like watching someone's deviant art account come to life. Let's break down why you're absolutely screwed if you meet this walking science experiment. First off, every time you think you've won, he gets angry and evolves. It's like playing Pokemon, except the Pokemon wants to eat your face and keep getting bigger. You empty an entire clip into him? Congratulations, you've just unlocked his next form. Think you're safe behind that steel door? He's about to introduce you to his new arm that's basically a Swiss Army knife made of nightmares. Running away? Cool, he'll just punch through the floor and meet you downstairs. It's like he's playing chess while you're playing hide and seek, and he's cheating at both. And finally, because Resident Evil decided regular zombies weren't enough, let's talk about when man's best friend becomes man's worst nightmare. Zombie dogs, or as I like to call them, the reason I can't look at my neighbor's chihuahua the same anymore. These things combine everything that makes dogs excellent hunters and everything that makes zombies terrifying. Think about it, dogs are already faster than us, hear better than us, and most of all, they can smell fear. Now remove their need to rest or feel mercy and add an insatiable hunger for human flesh. Oh, and they hunt in packs, because apparently being a solo nightmare wasn't enough for them. Remember this scene? The one that made an entire generation of gamers have trust issues against Windows? Yeah, that's not even the worst part. In real life, you wouldn't even hear them coming until... Sorry about that. Actually, no, I'm not. Because that right there, that split second of panic you felt, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And you were just watching a video. Imagine that, but it's real life. And instead of hitting pause, you had to somehow survive. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, oh, but I've still beaten all of the games. Yeah, and I've won a race in Mario Kart, but you don't see me challenging Lewis Hamilton. Let's start out with everyone's favorite hillbilly regenerator, Jack Baker. An unstoppable killer who can take a gunshot to the head and shrug it off like nothing happened. First up, this man survived being set on fire, being hit by a car, and being cut into pieces. Your pocket knife isn't gonna cut it, literally. You may be asking, yes, I've run the numbers on the weapons that you could realistically get, and how likely they would be to affect him. Baseball bat, he'll take it and beat you with it. Chainsaw, been there, done that. And car, same thing. But what if I just hide, you may be asking yourself. Oh, you sweet, sweet person. Jack isn't just strong. He has the spatial awareness of a mom that knows you're touching the thermostat 3 rooms away. He'll track you through walls, predict your moves, and worst of all, he'll wait. This man has the patience of a DMV worker. Let's talk about his mutations, because apparently being an unkillable hillbilly wasn't enough for him. Stage 1, regular Jack. Already impossible to deal with. Stage 2, angry Jack. Ooh. Now with an extra eye and a bad attitude. Stage 3 Jack is something that makes the first 2 stages look like a petting zoo. Okay, but what about outsmarting him? No! Here's the thing. Jack isn't just some mindless brute, like we said. He's got the strategic mind of a chess master. If the chess master could also bench press a truck. He'll cut off your escape routes, herd you into traps, and worst of all, he'll remember your tricks. Try the same strategy twice? He'll adapt to it. And let's talk about his favorite hobby, psychological warfare. This man will invite you to dinner, crack jokes while trying to kill you, and somehow make you feel bad about not accepting his hospitality.
This was supposed to be a very special feast.
It's like having a murderous southern grandmother. The guilt trips are just as deadly as the actual attacks. The real kicker, even if you somehow manage to actually kill him, he'll just pop back up later. Like that one relative who always overstays their welcome. Your best strategy? Pray. And even then, I'd recommend having a backup plan for your backup plan. Jokes aside, I've calculated your chances against Jack Baker. They're somewhere between winning the lottery and being struck by lightning, and those odds actually get worse the more you think about them. What are some things that sound less terrifying than this? You're gonna be pretty shocked with this list. Your mom's footsteps at 3 a.m., the dentist drill, and your card declining at a restaurant. Hear that? That's the sound of your survival chances dropping to 0. Let's break down why this walking fashion disaster is so terrifying. Name, Mr. X. Age, classified, Occupation, professional wall enthusiast. Hobbies, long walks through RPD. Interior renovations, forceful. Hat modeling, looking for STARS members, and anyone trying to escape. Expectations, your barricaded door will protect you. Reality, he's gonna punch you in the face. First, let's list some things you shouldn't do to try to survive him. Hide under your desk. Spoiler alert, this ain't working. Throwing a flash grenade. Cool, now he knows where you at and you can't see. Trying to reason with him? Yeah, good luck trying to have him hear you over his loud footsteps. Running, I'm gonna give you a 0 out of 10 on that. His cardio is better than your New Year's resolution. Fighting, I give you a 5, but put a negative sign in front of it. It's like throwing a paper airplane at a tank. Hiding, I give you 2 out of 10 just because of the optimism there. Minus points for effectiveness. Praying, 3 out of 10. At least you'll look peaceful while you die. See how all of his paths lead to pain? It's like a really aggressive GPS with one destination.
This is the direction? What are we doing?
It's his fist to your face. Let's talk about his AI for a second, though. Because obviously whoever programmed it has some unsolved issues that they need to tend to. He doesn't just follow you. He predicts where you're going to go. Things that bounce off of Mr. X. Bullets, logic, fashion advice, and your prayers. But I want to know, comment below what you would try on Mr. X. Wrong answers only, because face it, all of your answers are going to be wrong. And when he gets really mad, I would normally say something clever, but I'd be too busy running. So for this one, you're not surviving. There's no chance. But if you thought a fashion disaster was bad, wait for the girl who makes your worst family reunion look like a picnic. At least Mr. X was honest about wanting to kill you. So, speaking of family issues, Evelyn. Remember the scariest thing about little girls being their weird TikTok dances? Well, meet Evelyn. The reason why adopting random children after a hurricane is probably a bad idea. So, this is Evelyn, also known as E001. Age, she looks 10, but she can also look 90. Hobbies are family bonding, forceful. She likes to do interior decorating, but this time it's with mold. And then her red flags are psychological manipulation and anything else about her. Literally everything. If you thought your family drama was bad and you can barely handle that, how do you expect to work with Evelyn? She manipulates you and makes you think things that aren't real. For example, your siblings fight over the TV remote. She fights over your free will. Family dinner gets a little bit awkward. Try the baker's family dinner. Actually, let's not do that. Let me use this as an example. So imagine Evelyn sends you a friend request. If you accept her friend request, you join the family. Yeah, that sounds nice, right? Now you're controlled by her and you're probably gonna kill at least 10 people, right? Or you can decline, which results you also joining the family and probably just more pain for you. And then block. That's cute. That's cute that you thought that would work. Yeah, you're dying. Let's talk about her powers. Because little girl with mind control wasn't enough already. She's basically Facebook's algorithm with a fungal infection. She knows what you want, gets in your head, and slowly corrupts everything you love. Think you're mentally strong? Scratch that, it's Evelyn. She'll remix your brain faster than a DJ doing a set at a wedding. And unlike other Resident Evil villains, you can't just shoot your way out of this one. So let me be realistic, the only thing to help you is to get her to change. So you could try therapy, that won't work. Family counseling, because she thrives off of wanting a family, doesn't work. Restraining orders, not to be that guy, but this, I don't think it cares about the law. And then running away. If the last ones didn't work, what are you thinking? You're crazy. No. Oh yeah, here's the kicker. She ages like milk in a hot car. But don't let that fool you. She's just as deadly as a grandma with your browser history. Share this video if you've ever wanted to mind control your family. And then click off of it, because what's wrong with you? So here's my actual survival rating for Evelyn. So combat, -10 out of 10, because she controls your mind. She'll just make you start punching yourself. Mental resistance. This is actually kind of a good idea, but I don't think you can build up a resistance this strong. And then running away, no. But if you thought family issues with a bioweapon was difficult, meet the tall lady that makes your dating standards look realistic. At least Evelyn wanted a family. Lady D, she wants something a little more vintage. So this is the average human height. Don't ask why it's next to me, because remember, I'm 7 foot tall, 900 pounds. This is just, you know, it gets weird. Then this is a basketball player, 6'6". That one's kind of similar, but add 3 to the first one. Yeah, she just sent my self-esteem underground. Lady Alicina Dimitrisu. Taller than your chances of survival. Occupation, wine connoisseur. Castle owner, professional tall person, looking for fresh blood. Literally. Red flags, there you go. Okay, some of the worst ways that you could die from her is trying to hide. That won't work. She can look on top of anything. And don't forget, she's huge. She's pretty strong. She can lift up a piece of furniture and see you're underneath. And attempting to run from her? Usain Bolt was fast because he had a long stride. How big you think her stride is? But when you think about it, she lives in a pretty big castle, so I think the most you could do is escape her for a little bit, but not forever. We have the ground floor, which is pretty open, so she would find you pretty quickly unless you're in the safe room with big guy here. You have the wine cellar in the basement, and then you have the upstairs, and then you have the daughters, but that's not a part of this, but that's a whole nother reason why you wouldn't survive in this castle with Lady D. Let's talk about her abilities, because being big enough to use a basketball hoop as a bracelet wasn't good enough. She has nails that work like claws, superhuman strength, and the ability to make any doorway look comically small. Comment down below what you think you would say to Lady D if you ever met her. A lot of you are probably going to try to ask her on a date, meanwhile I'll be yelling for help. And then if you're like some of the dudes in the comments, you're like, oh, maybe being stepped on isn't that bad. She turns into a dragon, because apparently a giant vampire wasn't enough of a flex. Okay, now we're going to give a little bit of a survival rating. Running, -5 out of 10. Hiding, 0 out of 10. Like I said, she can look up high, she can lift things up to look down low. Fighting, you're fighting a giant. What do you think? You've played Skyrim. Simping, but if you thought being hunted by a tall vampire was bad enough, wait till you meet the walking weapon platform that makes her look like an amateur. At least Dimitrescu gives you a second to admire the architecture in the building. Nemesis doesn't care for that. He's all business, no pleasure, unless you count rocket launchers, pleasure. I'll give you a fun fact real quick. The average player dies 47 times to Nemesis before beating the game. And those are the good players. Stars. Sir, how many rocket launchers should we give him? Yes. But sir, the budget. Did I stutter? Here's Nemesis if he had a dating profile. Name, Nemesis. Turn-ons, stars. Rocket launchers, property damage. Turn-offs, Jill Valentine. And building permits. Special skills, can pronounce stars better than your GPS. This dude thinks gravity is optional. Walls are also optional. Personal space, that he's never heard of that word. And his rocket launchers seem like they're just infinite. I don't think they end. I think he makes them. Stage 1, he's got a little bit of artillery weapons. Stage 2 is tentacle time, pause. Stage 3 is he's literally a cosmic horror entity. He looks like Cthulhu. Things less persistent than him are YouTube Premium pop-ups, that one bug in your room that just won't leave, student loans, and you at dinner time. All this dude knows is cardio, rocket launchers, and leg day. Now we're gonna rate your survival chances against him. Running, it's like trying to outrun your responsibilities, 0 out of 10. Hiding, he can smell your fear and your hair product, -2 out of 10. Fighting, congratulations, you've chosen death, -5 out of 10. Playing dead, let's just say he double checks. But if you thought Nemesis was the peak of umbrellas, why would you make this catalog? Let me show you the man that makes the Matrix look like a PowerPoint presentation. Albert Wesker doesn't want to just kill you, he wants to monologue about evolution while he does it, in slow-mo. And somehow, that's worse. He was originally a STARS captain before he betrayed them. He likes to talk about evolution and himself. Oh, and he really likes talking. He seriously just talks. His daily schedule probably looks something like 6 a.m. Matrix practice, 7 a.m. he tries to betray someone, 8 a.m. sunglass shopping, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. monologue about evolution, 6 p.m. speedrunning, literally, 7 p.m. more betrayal, and 8 p.m. dramatic exit practice. Some things that are faster than him is nothing, nothing, and more nothing. Here's some ways that you could die to Wesker. Being too slow, too human, not wearing sunglasses, and all of the above. Let's give you that survival rating. Fighting, no, you're dumb. Running, why even try? He has super speed, we know this. Hiding, he's right behind you. Debating evolution, good try, smart thinking, he'll win. And then he'll kill you. He's like a monologue of eugenics made into a person. So with him, you're not surviving. Let's start with everyone's tall glass of... Never mind, I'm not gonna go there. Lady D, standing at a staggering 9'6". She's not just tall, she makes NBA players look like kindergartners. She's also practically immortal, unless you get my boy Ethan here. Plug. He changes that. Let's talk about what makes her truly unbeatable for an average person like you. Her raw physical capabilities. Thanks to the Cadeau parasite, Lady D isn't just tall, she's a biological powerhouse. Her strength is absolutely ridiculous. Those slender fingers can turn into razor-sharp claws that can cut your hand clean off. But here's the really terrifying part. Her regenerative abilities make her borderline immortal. Regular bullets, they might as well just be spitballs to her. Knife wound, you're just gonna make her angry. And even if you somehow inflict some serious damage, she's just gonna heal right away. But what really sets her apart is her intelligence. Unlike some of the other monsters who don't think as well, she doesn't just chase you, she hunts you. She'll cut off escape routes, herd you into corners, and worst of all, she'll talk to you while doing it. Well, for some of you, not me, definitely not me. You might like that. I don't know. I'm not pointing any fingers. And just when you think you figured out how to deal with her, when you finally get that knife and you stab her, yeah, she transforms into a dragon. Her dragon form isn't just bigger. She uses new transformation so she can slam into walls, get you out of corners while you're hiding during her boss fight. Oh, and she can fly, so yeah, good luck. She's even more durable than before. The psychological impact here can't be understated. Being hunted by Lady D isn't just about avoiding her attacks, it's about keeping your sanity intact. It's comparable to the other Resident Evil monsters that stalk you. You're scared in the moment while they're chasing you, but once you finally lose them, you're worried about if they're back on your tail or not. Even if you somehow manage to get military-grade weapons to try to fight her, you'd still be in trouble. You'd shoot a rocket launcher at her while inside the castle, and it'd come crumbling down on you. You're not surviving. And she might just walk everywhere, but with those long legs, she's just, I don't know, she's like Usain Bolt, just moving quickly. Your only real option? Jump out a window. You're gonna die anyways. But if you thought being hunted by a tall vampire lady was hard enough, wait until you see something that makes her look like a friendly neighbor. House Benevento, whatever that says, yeah, that is 100% the most terrifying psychological horror part of Resident Evil Village. While some of you guys are battling with your mental after the castle, trying to figure out your preferences in women now, the real horror awaits at the house. House Benevento, while you're walking up, it's already leading up that this is different than what we just experienced. You're seeing Mia while you're walking up, you're hearing creepy noises, it's really messing with your mental rather than you're being chased by Big Lady. Once you enter this house, you go down in the basement, you're trying to figure some things out when, all of a suddenly you hear a baby crying and you suddenly remember that when you entered this basement, they took all your guns, so now you have no way to defend you. But why would you be scared? It's just a baby crying. Nothing's gonna, oh my god, what is that? The design team at Capcom really outdid themselves here. A giant baby with distorted features. Its flesh looks like raw. It's disgusting. It's gross. Its movement is very unnatural and staggered as it's coming towards you, and why is its mouth that big? We've talked about how scary it is, but let's talk about what actually makes it unbeatable. The environment itself works against you. Those tight corridors, they're barely wide enough to squeeze past things. The hiding spots, you can barely see out of those. The constant darkness doesn't help. You'll end up hearing the baby before you see it, and it's too late. It creates this level of tension that's almost unbearable. It makes you want to pause the game. The psychological warfare is relentless in this part. Every time you think you found a safe spot, a giggle echoes through the hallways. Every time you start to catch your breath, you hear the wet footsteps coming closer. The game knows how to prey on your most basic fears. Being pursued, being trapped, and being absolutely hopeless. For the average person, this encounter would be impossible to survive. I need you to look at this like you're actually there. I get playing a game and being in an actual location would be different, so think about it. You're actually here. You have a gigantic baby crawling towards you. What are you doing? The same as me, you're crying. And really, pat on the back for the Capcom designers. These sounds are terrifying. The way they echo through these abandoned hallways is genuinely super terrifying. But if you thought being hunted by a giant mutant baby was terrifying, wait until you meet the most unsettling monster in gaming history. Or maybe not, it freaked me out pretty bad. The Regenerators from Resident Evil 4 are easily one of the scariest monsters. Let's talk about what makes these really unbeatable. First, their basic biology is just a straight up middle finger to conventional combat. You shoot them in the head, oh yeah, they're perfectly fine. Blow off their limbs, yeah, they sprout new ones. But let's think about it like this. You empty an entire clip into their body. Yeah, now you're out of bullets. Nice job. They also have this gross, uneasy breathing. Speaking of breathing, let's talk about that. The raspy, wet inhale that they have. It's the sound of something that shouldn't be alive. Somehow, though, it's still drawing breaths, even if you've unloaded clips into it. The way they move is another level to this nightmare. Their bodies can stretch and contort against regular physics. One minute, they're shambling towards you like some drunk dude running for the subway. And the next, they're launching themselves across the room, like some insane dolphin dive thing. The thing that makes them truly unbeatable, though, is how to kill them. The Lost Plagueis that's in them that's controlling the Regenerators' bodies aren't in conventional spots, they're randomly placed. And the only way to see this is with special thermal goggles. And even if you do get your hands on these somehow, that's no promise that you're gonna beat these things. They still move unconventionally while they're leaning side to side like a drunk man. While you shot one of the parasites, you're gonna be reloading to shoot the next, and that thing's already diving towards you. Oh yeah, and then there's the Iron Maiden version, which just makes these things 10 times more terrifying and durable. Even for someone like Leon, who has multiple years of military experience and training, these things were difficult for him to kill. How do you think you're gonna fare as an average person? Not well. But while their generators are almost impossible to kill, the liquor doesn't even give you a chance. If you ever wondered what would happen if you combined Spider-Man with some freaky dude, that's the liquors. These nightmares on legs first showed up in Resident Evil 2, and they've been giving people heart attacks ever since. Their entire hunting strategy? Let's break that down, and why it is nearly impossible for the average person to survive. First, there's their mobility. They can crawl on the floor, on the wall, on the ceiling. You don't know where you have to look for them because they could be anywhere. And then there's you, who's pointing and laughing while you're running into your safe room, and then it just extends its tongue and grabs you. How'd you forget about that? Oh, and let's not forget about the claws that they have, because the tongue isn't the only thing. They'll claw straight through your back. While Leon, he can just eat a green plant and be perfectly fine. You, on the other hand, it's gonna hurt pretty bad. But here's the interesting thing that you guys might call out. They're blind. Yeah. We know. Just because they're blind doesn't make them dumb. With their blindness, they make up for it with having incredible hearing. Every footstep, every reload, every whisper, every prayer, they can hear it. Think about this for a second. To survive a licker, you need to move slowly and silently through a dark, terrifying corridor where death could be at every corner. The average person can barely walk through their house at night without stubbing their toe even with their nightlight. And let's talk about their pack hunting behavior, because more times than not, these things are not on their own. They have the ability to coordinate attacks with each other. While one's hitting you, the other one's preparing to hit you right after. And I know I bring this up a lot, but the psychological impact has to be dangerous for you. While you're going through all this, you have to think, if I make too much noise, this could be my last. The creaking floorboard, you're done. The nervous breathing, yeah, they can hear that. And while your heart's beating out of your chest, which it will be, they can probably hear that too. Basically, what I'm trying to say is encountering a licker for a normal human, this is literally death for you. I'm not saying I'm much better, but you're gonna do as good as I am. But if you thought something that can hear your every move was bad, wait until you meet someone that can dodge bullets, throw cars, and probably beat you in chess while doing all that at the same time. Imagine if Superman decided to become a supervillain, put on some shades, it'd begin to have the biggest ego known to man. That's Albert Wesker, basically. What makes Wesker truly unbeatable isn't just his powers, it's the fact that he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. This man turned betrayal into an art form. But let's break down why the average person wouldn't last 5 seconds with Wesker. So let's talk about it. This man can dodge bullets, he makes the Flash look like he's on an evening stroll. His strength, it's ridiculous. We're talking about someone who can punch through solid concrete, but no one's like, Chris, he can't punch a boulder. If you punched him, it would feel like a gentle breeze. His intelligence is the biggest factor. He's a scientific genius with a master's in manipulation. He's always 10 steps ahead, figuratively and literally. While you're looking in front of you, he's doing some like shadow step behind you and judging your outfit. Let me put it into perspective a little bit for you. You're fighting someone who can move faster than you blink, survive injuries that would kill a normal person, you, calculate complex battle strategies while teleporting around you, basically. I know it's not teleporting, I know it's just really fast, whatever. And rock a leather outfit while doing it. That just sounds scary. And even if you think you have a chance, like you can land a shot on him or you can land a punch on him, he heals super fast. He's superhuman. It's not going to do much in the long run. The psychological warfare is next level too. Wesker doesn't just beat you. He wants to toy with you. He wants to mock you. He wants to critique your combat capability. Imagine trying to fight someone that treats your best efforts like a child's temper tantrum. For the average person, facing Wesker would be like bringing a potato to a gunfight. While you can hit him with it, it's not going to do much. The combination of his superhero capabilities, tactical genius, and insufferable superiority complex, this makes him practically invincible. But if you thought dealing with a superhuman mastermind like Wesker, wait until you meet the man that takes family bonding to the next level. Welcome to the Baker house. You made it just in time for dinner. You hungry? The person leading this chaos is Jack Baker. He's the man of the house. He combines southern hospitality with regenerative mold powers and an extreme anger for Ethan. Let's talk about what makes Jack Baker basically unbeatable. First of all, this man treats fatal injuries like minor inconveniences. Hit him with your car, he'll be fine. Light him on fire, he'll be fine. Cut him in half with a chainsaw, he comes back even stronger. The mold infection didn't just make him immortal. It turned him into a walking nightmare with strength that combats the Incredible Hulk. This man can punch through walls, flip cars, and probably bench press a tractor for fun. And the scariest part, he makes dad jokes while doing it. No thank you. But what makes Jack really unbeatable is his home field advantage. While you're in the Baker state, he knows exactly where you are at all times. He knows that place like the back of his hand. Every creaky floorboard, every hidden passage, he knows about it. Think you found a good hiding spot? Yeah, that's where he was just stashing his bodies. Let's talk about his persistence. Most monsters give up after you've killed them once, maybe even twice, but Jack, he doesn't care. He'll keep coming back and coming back and coming back. He's like Terminator if he was powered by baked beans. The psychological warfare is next level too. Jack doesn't want to just kill you. He wants to welcome you to the family, whether you like it or not.
Welcome to the family, son.
Imagine trying to survive someone that's immortal who keeps calling you son and you have no idea who they are. It's like walking down the street in Portland. Even if you manage to get your hands on some serious weapons, this is what you're still dealing with. A guy who can regenerate from practically any injury. A guy who can track you through his own house like a bloodhound. And then turn family dinner into a Texas Chainsaw Massacre cosplay event. But if you thought an unstoppable family man was bad, let's talk about the Lycans. Have you ever thought werewolves are just big puppies with anger issues? Resident Evil Village's Lycans are here to violently correct those assumptions. Let's break down why this furry nightmare is practically unbeatable. First off, you might be able to survive if it's just one of them, but it's never just one of them. They're like werewolves. They hunt in packs, and they don't leave each other's sides. The only time they do is to ambush you from one of them. They'll flank you, they'll cut off your escape routes, and laugh at you and point at you because your cardio's so bad. Their physical capabilities are genuinely ridiculous. They look like they're playing hopscotch across roofs while they're climbing buildings. The average person can barely climb stairs without getting winded. How do you expect to survive this? Try fighting something that does parkour as a casual warm-up. But here's what's really fun is they come in variants. You have your standard lycans, which are pretty bad. They're like regular werewolves. And you have the heavy armored ones because someone decided that regular lycans needed an upgrade. It was Heisenberg. And then you remember that really big one? Yeah, the one with the hammer. You're not surviving. It's like a regular lycan, but bigger, angrier, and probably a membership. They sound the lunk alarm while he's walking up to the Planet Fitness. These aren't mindless beasts. They use weapons, they set traps, and they coordinate attacks with one another. Imagine something that has the instincts of humans and animals. Yeah, exactly. You're going down. For the average person, like I said, one lycan might not be that bad, but now you're going up against a whole village of them. Your options are basically run, they're faster than you, hide, they can smell you, fight, good luck, I don't know what you're thinking, and accept your life as a lycan meal. There's literally no option that you survive with this. But if you thought the wolfmen were terrifying, let's talk about hunters. And yes, that's actually their name. Imagine if someone looked at a velociraptor and thought, oh, let's add more muscle, bigger claws, and the ability to give any player a panic attack. That's basically how we got hunters. These lovely specimens is what happens when Umbrella Corporation decides to mix reptile DNA with a T-virus. The result? A bioweapon that makes the Jurassic Park movies look like they're at petting zoos. And let's be real, they're called hunters for a reason. And it's not because they're good at hide and seek. Similar to the lycans, they're not just animalistic, they're smart. These things were literally designed to be perfect killing machines. And Umbrella delivered on that. And let's talk about their signature move, the decapitation leap. Most monsters are content with just mauling you to death, but hunters, they go for style points. They can jump across an entire room and separate your head from your shoulders. While you're thinking, wait, what's that noise? You can't even get that sentence out and your head's already on the ground. Their physical ability attributes are absolutely insane. They have claws that can slice through protective gear like butter, muscles dense enough to just crush your head, agility that makes an Olympic gymnast look sluggish, and a face only a mad scientist could love. But here's what actually makes them unbeatable for the average person. Again, they're not mindless beasts, they're calculated killers. They're called hunters because they hunt you, they want to find you, and they will find you. And just when you think you have them figured out, like lycans, Umbrella's made different kinds of them. You got beta hunters with poison claws, gamma hunters, where it looks like someone crossed a frog with a nightmare, and the Hunter 2, which is basically just an upgraded version of the original one. But if you thought genetically engineered killing machines were bad, wait until you meet what's in the Baker basement. The molded, they look like the leftover corners of your fridge when you haven't cleaned it. And if you left it there and it just kept growing into this human thing that's gonna cut my head off. The molded aren't just your average bioweapon. They're what happens when someone looks at black mold and thinks, hey, what if we made this, I don't know, worse? Basically fungal infections with anger management issues and serious personal space issues. Let me through, you're blocking the exit. These things are basically walking goo with teeth. Fighting these things is like fighting pudding with a BB gun. And those teeth, these molded could bite right through you. Oh, and just like every other great thing on this list, they have different variations. There's the fat molded that can spit acid, the crawler molded that's a rejected Spider-Man villain, and probably so many more. These things don't just try to kill you, they make you question every little black puddle on the ground. I hope you don't have a lot of those, but the Bakers do, so you know. They make you question if something's gonna come peering around the corner to attack you. They're just everywhere. And that sound they make, they just sound, just play the sound. Yeah, I don't like that. And let's talk about their environment. The molded thrive in dark, damp spaces like actual mold, which, lucky for them, this is like any horror movie space. And if you're here, they're just gonna gang up on you and, I don't know, you're gonna get destroyed or you're gonna become like Ethan. Spoiler alert, I guess. But if you thought fungal monsters were gonna be the peak of biological terror, let's talk about the gigantic spider. Because spiders weren't enough already. You know when people say kill it with fire when they see a regular spider? Well, Resident Evil's giant spider is not gonna let that happen. Let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say giant spider in the room? The giant spider in the room. This isn't your average catch and release outside kind of spider. What Umbrella decided to do was make a spider the size of a small school bus. What makes this 8-legged nightmare truly terrifying isn't just its sheer size, though that's terrifying on its own. It's their arsenal. They're spiders, so they can spin webs, and it's a spider, of course it's venomous. There's little spiders that if they bite you, you're just gonna die on the spot. This thing's like that, but huge, so you're gonna die more on the spot. I don't know, they're gonna kill you. But funny enough, they can spawn smaller spiders. It literally has an army of mini versions of it. It's like a nightmare pyramid scheme, where everyone is trying to eat you. Their movement is another level of horror. They scuttle scuttle across walls and the ground. They're like a cheetah hyped up on caffeine. For the average person encountering one of these, it would look a lot like Scream, Scream Louder, and you're dead. There's no step 3 actually. The psychological aspect of this is devastating, especially for me. Even people who aren't normally afraid of spiders, when you see one in your car with you, you're probably gonna shimmy a little bit away. You don't want it next to you. And for those who already have arachnophobia, me, this is basically my worst nightmare, but with 8 shoes on. So yeah, me personally, terrifying gigantic spider would probably be the worst on this list. And with that, we've talked about some Resident Evil monsters that are completely unbeatable. And if you want to argue with me in the comment section and talk about how you're right and I'm wrong, then go ahead and do so. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and click the video on screen right now.